Hi class, before we start our topic on the equilibrium of rigid bodies, let's recall of the topics we've already learned. So we've learned all about the properties of a force, the system of forces, moment, and couples. So kinukuha natin yung resultant din nila and where they act and then their direction. We've also learned how to evaluate them by conventional analysis or by vector analysis. Now, moving to the new topic, equilibrium of rigid bodies, we will apply all of the learned knowledge here. Rigid bodies, for example, are our structures, mga buildings or bridges. So we want these structures to be always stable. That means even if people, mga furnitures or equipments will be loaded to our structures, they will not shatter or masisira, they will not bend or fracture. Even sa mga strong typhoon, earthquake, they should stay safe para ma-serve yung purpose nila to shelter people. So meaning, sa lahat ng instances na to, there will be forces, pressures, mga bending na pwedeng mangyari or pwedeng ma-apply sa mga structures. And these structures should be able to resist itong mga loadings na to na na-apply sa kanila. So how are they going to resist these loadings? Itong mga na-apply na forces sa kanila due to nature or mga man-made or mga dead weights ng mga gamit. So it is by being able to exert the same force na in-apply sa kanila or even more force kontra dun sa mga applied loadings na to. So, by analyzing them in a state of equilibrium, magiging stable yung structure natin. Hindi sila masisira, hindi sila mag-move or maaalis sa kanilang position. So, meaning the building strength reactions are equated equal to the applied force. That way, in equilibrium siya, it is stable. So, for example, ito yung structure natin. So, di ba, na-applyan yan ng load at all times. Like yung mga taong gumagamit, mga furnitures na nilalagay natin. So, even nature, may ina-apply siyang forces or pressures. So, for example, ito ang structure natin. It's a simple frame. Makikita nyo, meron siyang triangle dito and roller. Those are representations na ginagamit natin sa analysis ng mga support. So, meron tayong iba-ibang klaseng support. At ito yung sample ng mga representations ng mga support na yun. This is called a pin connection and this is a roller connection. So, syempre, umaangkla tayo sa ground or sa surface. So, ayaw kasi natin mag-move yung structure. Kahit ma-applyan yan ng load na pa downward, hindi siya gagalaw or hindi siya mag-bend, kaya niya dapat i-resist ito. So, makikita nyo, there are different types of loadings. Merong arrow lang, merong group of arrows, we call na name na W, and itong concentrated, mag-isang arrow lang, called P. Meron ditong horizontal group of arrows, W, and then may inclined na one arrow, point load siya. Single arrow siya, single force siya. And then meron tayong moment dito, clockwise na rotation niya. So, itong mga different loadings na to, kailangan nating maintindihan din kasi makikita nyo iba-iba sila. So, kailangan ma-represent nyo sila, ma-analyze nyo sila into simpler forms. So, also, yung mga support, kailangan alam din natin sila. So, before we move on dun sa pag-analyze talaga ng mga rigid bodies, we have to learn first itong mga types of loadings na to, these types of supports. So these are the types of supports, and each type of support may corresponding reaction na nabibigay. So letter A, this is a cable. Itong line na to, this is a cable. So cables, they only carry tension loads. So paano i-represent ang tension load? From your body or from your structure, kung nasaan yung point of application niya, you will start there. Ito siya. And then, it is represented by one arrow na directed palayo dun sa point mo. Kasi nga, ang effect niya is tension, hinihila, binabanat, nababanat siya. So, isa lang ang corresponding reaction niyan. One lang. And it's tension force. Letter B, mga frictionless surface. Single point of contact lang yung mga yan. So, at that point of contact, isa lang yan. And ang ma-exert niyang reaction is called a normal force kasi they are perpendicular to the surface. At isa lang din sila. Isa lang ang reaction na mabibigay ng ganitong type of support. And this normal force, take note, is perpendicular to your surface. So, for this example, ang surface niya is inclined. So, yung kanyang normal force is also inclined. But, ang pinakang essential characteristic niya is it is perpendicular sa surface. So, what if your surface is horizontal? So, your surface is horizontal. Nandito yung roller mo. So, nandito yung point of contact. Single lang yan. And then, paano ang normal force mo? Normal force is perpendicular to your surface. Kaya vertical ang reaction ng support na to. Next, sa letter C, mga roller support. Rollers, they can give parang normal reaction din, normal force din siya. So, the same dun sa letter B, kapag inclined din ang normal force mo, basta pag inanalyze mo siya, ang hahanapin mo is yung angle na perpendicular siya dun sa surface. So, kung ang surface ay horizontal, so, kumara ito, and this is your roller, tapos, and dito yung structure na ganyan. Kagaya ng example natin. So, ano ang reaction na meron siya? Single point of contact, then meron siyang vertical. Kasi, yun ang perpendicular to your surface. So, isa lang din siya. Next, letter D, this surface, single point of contact din siya, pero ini-specify na may friction resistance siya. So, pag sa problem, sinabi may friction resistance, ito ang magiging reactions ng support mo. Una, yung normal force as usual, perpendicular yan sa surface, and then merong friction force. Horizontal ang direction ng friction force. Horizontal and it's parallel to the surface. So, dito siya. So, kung horizontal ang surface mo, hindi inclined kagaya sa example. So, ito siya. So, meron kang normal na perpendicular sa surface. And then, yung friction force, horizontal siya, parallel to the surface. So, dalawa ang kaya niyang ibigay na reactions. Letter E, pin support. So, ang symbol niya is ganyan. Or sometimes triangle na nilalagyan ng ganun. Kagaya dun sa example natin na structure kanina. Triangular yung ginamit kong symbol. So, pin support yan. So, meron siyang mga reactions na along X and along Y. So, meron siyang dalawa. Then, letter F, mga fixed support. We call this fixed support or cantilever support. Ibig sabihin, itong beam na to, hanging na siya. Di ba mga cantilever beams? Ito lang yung support niya. Tapos, naka-overhang na yung beam mo ganyan. So, itong tinatawag na fixed support. Ang support na yan, they can give reactions na horizontal, vertical, and moment. Couple is also moment. So, 3 yung kaya niyang ibigay na reactions. So, ano ulit ang kahalagahan ng mga reactions na to? Ito yung kayang i-provide na forces ng mga supports pangontra dun sa mga ina-apply na forces dun sa ating structures para hindi sila gumalaw. So, ibig sabihin, for a state of equilibrium, your applied forces should be equal or at sometimes for conservative, greater ang mga reactions natin. Pero for equilibrium, ito tayo, equal siya. Pag nag-equilibrium analysis tayo, ini-equate natin siya sa sa reactions, yung mga applied forces. That way, mare-resist niya ang mga applied forces. So, next na kailangan nating malaman yung different types of loadings. So, the term structural load refers to forces applied or acting on the structural components of structures. So, loads are generally classified as either dead loads or live loads. Dead loads, Dead loads are mga dead weights, ganyan. Live loads, like, yung mga moving loads, like yung mga tao, kapag nasa building sila, they are moving. Also, furnitures, they can be placed from one place to another, so they are moving loads. Ito, nakatabularize yan, types of live loads sa NSCP, National Structural Code of the Philippines. Tabularize yan, kunwari, may bedroom ka, naka-identify doon ano ang amount ng live load na i-apply mo sa bedroom mo. So, types of structural load nga. May mga dead loads tayo or yung mga dead weights ng mga structural components natin. Such as yung self-weight nga ng mga beam, ng column, self-weight ng slab. So, those are dead loads. Makukuha mo yon by using sa NSCP din, mayroon table doon ng mga different densities ng different materials. Like, kung magko-compute ka ng self-weight ng isang beam or slab, kailangan mong kunin yung density ng reinforced concrete. Kung reinforced concrete yung iyong slab or beam. Then, using yung density na yon and yung dimensions ng beam mo, makukuha mo yung corresponding weight or force exerted ng self-weight ng mga components ng structure. Number 2, mga live loads. So, they can be traffic loads kapag sa bridge ka or roads. And then, kapag sa buildings, yung mga tao and movable furnitures nga. And these are nga listed, tabulated in the NSCP. So, environmental structural loads, of course, wind loads, soil pressure, water pressure, and seismic loads, earthquake. Concentrated structural loads. So, these happen kapag meron kang mga planted columns. Example, meron kang frame, first floor and second floor na frame. Kunwari, so, dito sa first floor, wala kang column, pero dito sa second floor, nagplant ka ng column, kaya planted column. This column carries, of course, load. mostly, kapag column, syempre, compression yan. So, meron siyang point load doon. May isang vertical force siya na i-impose dito sa beam na to. And this is an example of concentrated structural loads. Concentrated siya sa isang point. And then, structural line loads or distributed structural loads. So, using this frame ulit, kunwari may wall ka dyan. Buong ito, may CHB wall ka. Of course, those CHB walls, meron yang loads or weight. So, may dagdag pabigat yan dito sa beam. So, yeah, pag in-analyze natin yan, we will represent them as yung tinatawag na line loads or distributed structural loads kasi distributed yan throughout the beam length. Kaya line loads or distributed loads tawag. Distributed siya sa buong length ng beam. Kasi existing itong wall na to sa buong length ng beam. So, itong mga loads na to, kailangan meron siyang representation kapag in-analyze natin. Paano ang itsura niya pag in-analyze natin? So, for concentrated loads, di ba nga, ito, for example, this concentrated structural load from a planted column, we represent them pag in-analyze natin ang beam na to. Let's get this beam. So, hindi natin i-analyze, ilalagay yung column dyan. We will just represent it with the corresponding load representation niya sa structural analysis. And that is by using a concentrated load. Yan ang representation ng planted column sa structural analysis. And then line loads. So line loads can be in rectangular form, triangular, or trapezoidal na shape na load. Depende kung ano yung load mo and kung ano ang magiging representative shape niya sa structure, which we will learn later on. So, ano example natin dito? Itong wall. Since ang wall, uniform ang weight niyan throughout the length ng beam, we will represent it as a rectangular distributed na load. Rectangular siya because it's rectangular and uniformly distributed siya sa beam length. So that's an example of a rectangular distributed load. So pressure loads. These are examples of pressure loads. Rectangular na horizontal, vertical ito. Rectangular na horizontal and triangular. So kailan natin makikita itong unang example ng pressure load natin sa slab? 'Di ba? Meron kang second floor na slab, all throughout sa buong area ng slab na yun, may weight yun, kada point sa Kaya, meron kang pressure na ganyan. Diba, our formula for pressure is force over an area. So, yan ang nangyayari sa slab. Kada inch ng slab may weight yan. Weight is a type of force, diba? So, kada inch ng slab mo, may force yan, may weight yan, and it is applied sa area na to. Kaya, this is a type of pressure. Another, wind. Kapag nag-blow ang wind, hindi yan sa isang point lang magbo-blow. Sa buong surface yan magbo-blow ng force. So, ayan. Kada inch ng material mo nalalagyan ng forces ng wind. So, those forces is applied throughout the area ng material mo. So, that is a type of pressure, force over an area. Another, sa mga water and soil. Soil and water pressures can be represented as a triangular load. So, paano nga ba yun? Kasi, di ba, mag-erase lang ako. Saan ko isisingit? So, example na lang to. Meron kang dagat dyan, lalagyan mo siya ng breakwater. Gaganyanin mo yung breakwater mo or yung dam mo. Meron kang reservoir, lalagyan mo siya ng a wall. So, ito yung tubig mo. So, at this point, this is the boundary between the air and the water. So, wala pang pressure due to the water. Yan. So, zero siya at that point. Pero habang bumababa ka, nagkakaroon na ng bigat or force exerted ang water towards your wall. And then, pag bumaba ka ulit, mas malaki na yung pressure na yan. That's why ang representation ng water and soil pressure is a triangular load. Kasi habang bumababa ka, tumataas yung pressure mo. Again, force over area yan kasi hindi naman isang line lang ang retaining wall mo. Isang buong haba yan, di ba? So, ito yung area ng, ng wall mo. At dyan sa surface area ng wall mo, continuous na may tubig. Pressure galing sa tubig. And those are in rectangular representation. Ganito. That is the same sa sa soil. Kung may soil ka dito, so 0 pa rin. This is the boundary of the air and the soil. So 0 ka dyan. Tapos habang bumababa ka, lumalalim ka, dumadami ang pwersa ng lupa sa wall mo. Those are pressure loads. And next, moment, torsion, or coupled loads. Let me erase again muna. So, example, meron kang beam, may support A, may support B ka, tapos sasabihin ng problem, meron kang moment. Kasi may iniikot sila dito na turnil yung malaki. So, malaki yung moment na nagagawa niya. Kasi may rotation due to a wrench, power wrench dito. So, that is a moment. Kasi naiikot niya yung point dito. So, that is a moment. Sometimes, ibibigay nila yan as a torsion. Couple, in couple. Pero same, essentially nga, couple is also a moment load. Okay. Loadings. So, na-represent, may from the, from natural phenomena na mga pressure and loadings, may na-i-represent na natin sila into structural analysis na representations, di ba? Nagkaroon tayo ng point load, rectangular distributed, triangular distributed, pwede rin trapezoidal, and then mga moment. Ganyan ang representations. So, dito isa lang siya. So, that is your applied load already. And anong sabi natin? We want the structure to be in equilibrium. So, this applied load, we will equate yan. Ba't ginawa ko? P. IR. So, this applied load P, i-equate natin yan sa reactions ng supports. Reaction nito at reaction nito. Dapat equal ang reactions dito. Ibig sabihin, kaya niyang dalhin, kaya niyang kontrahin. What about kapag uniform distributed? This is a system of forces, di ba? Gaya ng pinag-usapan natin dati. So, system of forces ito, paano natin i-distribute sa mga support? So, this system of force, we need to simplify it. I-represent muna natin siyang concentrated force. Tapos, kukunin natin saan ang distance ng resultant ng system of force ng W. So, doon natin kakailanganin yung mga properties ng mga basic shapes natin. Later, I will give you yung table ng mga area and centroids ng mga basic shapes. Yun kasi ang kailangan natin na property sa mga basic shape. Yung area nila and yung centroids. Bakit? Kasi, diba rectangular to? So, pag kinuha mo daw ang area nito, that corresponds to the resultant force ng system of forces na yan. And kapag kinuha mo yung centroid ng rectangular area ng system of force mo, that will be equal to the distance niya from the support. So, next, kapag rectangular, the same, we need to get yung area ng isang triangle na shape, and that will be equal to the resultant ng system of force na triangular ang shape. And then, yung centroid niya will be equal sa distance. Ibig sabihin, kailangan natin kasi yung distance na to para ma-place natin kung saan ilalagay yung resultant force. Kasi, example, itong triangular, saan mo ipe-place yung nakuha mong force? Nakuha mo nga yung area, pero saan mo siya ilalagay? Sa beam length. Dito ba? Dito ba? O dito ba? Meron tayong tamang formula sa distance na yan. And that is nga yung centroids ng mga basic shape. Centroid ng triangle, if triangular ang load mo. Centroid ng rectangle, kung rectangular. So, what about kung trapezoidal ang load mo? So, you can simplify first, or you can memorize this. Ito, this is the area of the trapezoid, di ba? And this one is yung centroid ng trapezoid. Pero, pag nahirapan, nakakalito kasi, dami mong i-memorize na formula, you can use Varignon's theorem. Kasi mas madaling i-memorize yung formula ng rectangle at triangle centroids. So, by using Varignon's theorem, isimplify mo yung trapezoid into, hiwalay mo yung rectangle, ihiwalay mo yung triangle. Tapos, kunin mo yung resultant force ng rectangle. So, meron kang na triangle RT, resultant force yun ng triangle, and then kunin mo yung resultant force ng rectangle. And then, kunin mo yung centroid ng triangle, and then centroid ng rectangle. And then, para makuha yung centroid ng buong trapezoid, magva-Varignon's theorem ka. Varignon's theorem. And then, para makuha, ito, madali na lang to. Kukunin mo ang resultant ng dalawang lines na to, forces na to, additive lang, di ba? Kasi summation of forces along y lang sila. Or summation of forces along vertical, since downward silang parehas, so additive lang sila. Add mo lang si RT plus RR. So that will be your resultant, total resultant. And then, paano naman yung distance total for triangle and rectangle? Varignon's theorem nga. So, ang formula doon is total area. So, total area is the area ng triangle plus area ng rectangle times, ito yung missing mo, x total, that's the distance for the both shapes, are equal to area ng triangle A1 ko siyang lagay, then times x1, and then plus area ng rectangle or second area mo, and then x2. So, i-substitute natin yung values. Wala pala tayong values. So, ibig sabihin lang to, ito yung area ng triangle. Sa area ng triangle mo, and then distance mo, ano yung tong distance? So, you can refer to the point sa left or yung point sa right. This is point A, this is point B. Tapos, kunin mo yung, ayun nga, kailangan natin yung centroid ng triangle. Ito yung centroid ng triangle, sukatin mo. Ano ang centroid ng triangle from its base? Ito, it is 1/3. Tapos pag rectangle, ano ang centroid niya? Balance lang yan. Equal siya both sides. So, half ng length ng beam dito, half ng length ng beam sa kabila. So, yun ang gagamitin nyo as x1 and x2. And then, ito yung area ng rectangle. And then, i-total mo, add mo yung area ng rectangle at ng triangle, makukuha mo si 80. So, to get xt, i-isolate mo lang si xt. So, divide both sides sa 80. Cancel, cancel. 80. So, cancel siya dito. So, divide the other side by 80. Makukuha mo si xt. Okay? So, next point, moment. Kagaya ng example natin kanina, ito siya. Mga point moment. So, kapag nag-summation of forces ka along x, hindi kasama ang moment. Kapag nag-summation ka ng forces along y, hindi kasama ang moment. Kasi nga moment siya, hindi siya force. Ang sinasummation of forces sa x and y are, of course, yung forces lang. Kasi magagamit mo to, a-analyze mo ito using yung equation na summation of moment. Yun, yung summation of moment. So, ibig sabihin, pag nag-summation of moment ka, since moment na yung given, wala ka ng distance na kailangan i-multiply sa kanya. Unlike kapag force yan, kailangan mo ng distance. Kasi ang moment na na-create ito is yung distance niya from the point of elevation. Kailangan may multiply kang distance sa kanya. Unlike kapag moment is okay na. Ibig sabihin, kahit saan nakalagay ang moment, dito man siya or dito man siya, pag nag-summation of moment ka, yung value na M1 pa din siya. Hindi importante, hindi na i-consider yung distance niya from the point of elevation. So, ito yung sinasabi kong mga formulas for basic shapes natin. Rectangle, ito yung pagkuha ng area, and then x bar niya or yung centroid niya along x-axis is of course half niya, half ng b, this is b, i-half mo yan, that is your x bar. And then, ang centroid niya along the y-axis is h over 2. So, ito yung h, i-half mo yan, yun yung y bar. For triangle, ayun nga, area niya is b times h, divide mo sa 2 dahil kahalahati lang siya. And then for the centroid along x, it is b over 3. And then along y, it is h over 3. This is h, divide mo sa 3. Ito yung ano niya. Okay? And then the rest, for circle, half circle, and parabolic. Ito yung mga formulas natin. Let's have this first example. Since, ano siya, no? Irregular siya. Irregular ang shape ng load natin. So, kailangan natin itong i-analyze or i-simplify para ma-analyze natin yung beam later on. So, sabi ng problem, determine the resultant of the line load acting on the beam shown. Ito daw. So, kung titingnan mo, very irregular yung shape niya, pero magsa-subdivide natin ito into basic shapes para ma-simplify yung analysis. Let's break this down into 3 triangles. Ito, triangle siya, right triangle na mag-isa. And then, may nakikita din tayong triangle dito. So, tatlong shape siya. Isang triangle, and then one rectangle. Let's call this A1, A2, and A3. So, kada shape merong resultant force 1, may resultant force yung shape number 2, at resultant force yung shape number 3. And kada resultant force may distance. Let's call x bar 1, x bar 2, and x bar 3. As you can see, nilagay ko na dito sa right side yung answer dyan. The problem used P pala. So, I'll follow P para hindi confusing. Let's call the resultant forces as P1, P2, and P3. And yung mga centroids nila, X bar 1, X bar 2, X bar 3. So, let's get yung paano nakuha itong P1. So, sabi nga natin, the area of the shape corresponds to its resultant force value. So, ano ang height na to? It is 15. So, 15 kilonewton times 4 meters. Pag na 15 kilonewton, let's evaluate yung units na. 15 kilonewton per meter, i-multiply mo sa 4 meters, and then since that is a triangle, divide mo siya sa dalawa. Let's check yung units. Per meter to, this is in meters yung itong distance niya. So, magka-cancel yan. Ang matitira in a kilonewton unit. Meaning, totoong force nga, yung ikakalabasan niya dyan. So, the answer will be 30 kilonewton. Ito yon. So, how can we get yung x bar naman niya? So, for its x bar, di ba, ano yan? Triangle. So, ano ang centroid ng triangle? From the base. Ito yung base. And since minimeasure natin is yung x bar niya, ito yung consider natin. Ito yung hanapin natin, x bar. So, what is the 1/3 of 4? Kasi ang x bar niya is 1/3 ng length, di ba? So, hindi yan yung centroid. Yung centroid is measured from your point of evaluation. So, point of evaluation natin dito is 0.0. So, ito yung kailangan pala nating distance. Hindi yung isang ito. Hindi ito. So, ano ang corresponding equivalent nito? Siyempre, kung ito 1/3, ito ay 2/3. 2/3 ng 4. And that is equal to 2.67. That is yung x bar ng force number 1 or area number 1. For area number 2, ano ang force niya? Equal siya sa area ng triangle number 2. So, ano ang height nito? Okay, itong kailangan natin. I-multiply natin yan sa 6 meters dahil ito yung length niya. So, this is equal to 15 minus 10. Itong 15 na to and 10 na to. So, this is just 5 yung height niya. So, itong 5, i-multiply na natin sa 6. So, 30 divide mo sa 2 since triangle yan. Kaya 15 kilonewton si P2. Next, kunin naman natin yung kanyang x bar or yung centroid niya along x-axis. So, this is 6 meters length, diba? Ang x bar niyan is nandito. So, 1/3 ng 6 meters is the x bar. So, 1/3 niya is 3. So, dito pa lang yan. Ito pa lang yung 3. Ang sabi natin, centroid should be referred pa or yung x bar should be referred dun sa point of evaluation. So, 3 plus ito. Ay, mali ako ng 1/3 of 6 is 2. 1/3 of 6 is 2. So, this 2, kailangan pang i-add ito. So, 2 plus 4, kaya 6 ang x bar, 2. Then, next, yung shape number 3, yung rectangle. Ano ang area ng rectangle? That corresponds to the amount ng force natin. So, since 10 ang height, 6 meters ang length, 10 times 6 is 60. So, hindi mo yan i-half, ita times 1/2 kasi nga rectangle yan, buo siya. So, 60 ang P3, ang centroid niya. Ang centroid, x bar ng rectangle is nasa kalahati niya, ang centroid niya. So, kalahati ng 6 is 3, pero hanggang dito pa lang yan. Kailangan naka-refer tayo dun sa 0.0. So, i-add pa natin itong 4 meters. That's why X bar 3 is 7 meters. Okay. So, pag in-analyze mo yan, pwedeng gamitin mo na yung P1, P2, and P3. Additive na lang sila nun. Or depende sa evaluation mo. Pero, di ba, sa past lessons natin, kinuha natin ang resultant ng force systems. So, this is still a system of forces kasi tatlo pa rin sila. If the problem state na express it into one single resultant, ayun, magsa-summation of forces along y ka, and then Varignon's theorem mo yung tatlong shapes. So, ano ang formula pag Varignon's theorem ng tatlong yan? It will be A total times yung X total, X bar total nila, no? Equals area ng shape 1 and X bar ng shape 1, and then plus area ng shape 2, X bar ni shape 2, plus area ni shape 3, and times area, X bar ni area 3. So, meron lahat values yan. And then, i-total mo lang yung mga area. May value ka dyan. Si xt lang ang missing mo. So, i-isolate mo lang siya. Makukuha mo na ang x bar ng tatlong forces or ng tatlong shapes. And that will be the distance from the point of evaluation papunta kay P total. Dito siya. Kung ano ang makukuha mong x bar. So, what will be the x bar dyan? Let's get yung ano. So, A1 is 30. Kasi, di ba, area is equal to the force. So, ayan na yung 30. Times x bar is 2.67. And then, plus yung P2 times x2 ay 6. And then, plus yung kay P3, 60. Times x bar ni 3 ay 7 meters. All over sa additive ni A1. A1 is 30 plus A2, P2 na 15 plus P3 na 60. Kasi yun yung mga corresponding area nila. So, your x bar is 5.62 meters. So, this is 10. So, 5. So, banda rito, si R mo. PT. Listen ko lang ito. Dito pala siya. Lampas siya sa 5. One more example. After a severe rainstorm, the flat roof of the building shown in the figure is covered by 75 mm of rainwater. The specific weight of water is 10,000 Newton per cubic meter. So water depth na 75 mm causes a uniform pressure of 750 Newton per square meter. Determine the resultant force that the water exerts on the roof. So, determine the resultant force. Isang force lang. Itong buong pressure na nangyayari dahil sa rainwater, i-represent natin siya into one resultant force lang. Isang concentrated load lang. So, from this pressure, i-represent daw natin siyang isang force lang. Paano natin gagawin yun? Umpisahan natin, bakit niya ginawa ito to get the amount of pressure. So, meron tayong dimension ng building perimeter. And then, ang specific weight ng rainwater. Kasi ang mangyayari niyan, yung rainwater mo, naging stagnant dun sa roof. So, meron siyang 75 mm na weight. Ito yung 75 mm na depth. Ito yung 75 na yon mm. Yung height ng water na natenga sa roof. Ayan siya. So, may volume yan. So, paano natin i-represent into ano yun? To one representative force. So, that is by using yung specific weight ng water. So, that is 10,000 Newton per cubic meter. Per cubic meter. Meron tayo dito, volume to, di ba? In cubic meter din. Makukuha natin in cubic meter kasi naka-meters naman to. Kaso lang, this height is in mm. So, convert lang natin siya. So, 10,000 times yung volume ng buong stagnant water, that will be the resultant force na actually. So, paano natin kukunin ang area? So, inuna lang niyang i-multiply dun sa depth. That will be the pressure kasi. Pag minultiply mo yung unit specific weight ng water sa depth na to, that will be equal dun sa pressure all throughout the surface. Kaya pressure siya. Pero itong pressure na to, let us further simplify into one resultant force lang. So that is by multiplying yung area naman. Na-multiply na yung depth, yung area naman ang i-multiply. Para ma-cancel out natin itong cubic meter ng specific weight ng water, di ba? Kasi ang mangyayari lang dyan, since specific weight ng water, Newton meter, cubic meter, kailangan lang natin ma-cancel itong volume na denominator ng specific weight ng water. And that volume will correspond sa volume na to ng stagnant water. So, depth na 75 and then yung surface area lang niya. So, gawin na natin yung unit weight times yung depth na 75 mm. Since naka-mm siya, i-convert na natin siya into meters. So, divided by 1,000. Yan. Kaya ganun yung ginawa dito. Nag-divide siya na 1,000. So, that will be 0.075. Burin ko na. Baka mali to. So, 0.075 meter, that's the depth, times, ano yung area ng trapezoid? Meron tayong area ng trapezoid. That is A plus B. That is top and bottom ng trapezoid. So, that is 20 plus yung bottom niya is 16 plus 16, 32 all over 2 times height. Wag ko na ilagay height. Ano ang height niya? 37.5. So, ayan. So, kunin mo ang result niyan. 10,000 times 0.075 times quantity ng 20 plus 32 over 2. This one, multiply mo sa 37.5. So, our resultant force is equal to 731,250. Anong unit niyan? This is the volume. This is meter cube. So, cancel, matitira Newton. So, this is our resultant. So, ang laki niya, express na lang natin into kilonewton. So, 1 kilonewton is equal to 1,000 Newton. So, divide lang natin ito. Ibig sabihin sa 1,000 na. So, para Para in kilonewton, divide it by 1,000 Newton. Cancel, cancel. Matitirang unit is in kilonewton. So, 731.25 kilonewton ang ating resultant. So, next example. So, during a storm, wind exerts a pressure of 130 Newton per meter square, normal to the surface of the sign. Determine the resultant force due to the wind. So, napag-usapan na natin yung pressures kanina, no? Binigay ko yung itsura niya. So, for this sign, sinabi ng problem na ang normal to the surface ng sign yung wind pressure. So, kunwari, ito yung sign mo. Okay, let me draw first. Normal siya sa surface. Ibig sabihin, perpendicular yan sa surface. So, all throughout, sa buong surface ng stop sign, may pressure ng wind. So, pressure ng wind is rectangular, di ba? Rectangular yan sa buong surface ng sign. So, paano natin solve? Ibig sabihin, similar ito dun sa pressure ng water. Rectangular, uniform siya sa buong area na ine-evaluate mo. So, ano yung area na ine-evaluate? This area ng stop sign, di ba? And then, ibig sabihin, ano na yung amount ng wind pressure mo? Ito siya, 130. That 130 is itong height na parang ganyan. Nandito siya. Newton per meter square. Yan yung pressure niya. And then, ito yung value ng pressure. So, how do we get yung resultant force due to the wind? We already have the pressure. Anong formula natin sa pressure? Force over an area. So basically, to get the force, resultant na force, we just need to multiply itong pressure with the area. Cross multiply mo yan, P times E ka. So, makikita nyo din naman, another clue for that, ang wind pressure mo is in Newton per meter square. So, you just have to get this square meter area. Kailangan mong i-multiply sa kanya para mag-cancel out. Matitira is Newton, which is a unit of force, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, you just get this area kung saan nag-act yung pressure mo. Yun na yung, i-multiply mo dito para matira yung Newton. Equivalent na siya sa resultant force. So, another clue lang yun. So, let's get yung equivalent force or yung resultant force. So, say R equals yung pressure times yung area ng sign mo. So, R lang ang ginamit ko just to say na resultant siya. But this is similar dito sa formula na to, no? Yung F is equal to pressure times A. Ginawa ko lang RCF, no? Kasi ginamit ko lang yung resultant force. Pero pwede rin yan namang F. Ayusin ko lang. Ginamit ko lang si R. Ayan na. So, ano yung pressure natin? 130. So, 130 times the area. Ano yung area natin? To get the area, so, to simplify, kukunin ko na lang yung area ng square niya. So, that is 300 plus ito plus ito. 300 plus 300 plus 360. So, ano siya? 960. So, 960 mm. Multiply ko dito sa height niya. So, the same. Square siya. So, times times 960 mm. Pero, kailangan kong i-minus tong corners na to. So, ano yung corners na yan? Minus ko dun sa quantity. 300 naman sila. Lahat, no? 300 by 300. So, 300 times 300 divide ko sa 2. Kasi triangle siya. Pero, kailangan kong multiply ulit sa 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 corners. Kasi, ito, i-multiply ko sa 4. So, yun. Na-minus ko na yung lahat ng corners. Okay na yung area ko. So, 130 times 900 times, wait lang, units. Yung 130 is in meters. Yung mga ano ko is naka-mm. So, gagawin kong meters to. So, 0.96 by 0.96. This is 0.3. This is 0.3. Yan. Okay, let's continue. 130. Kailangan uniform ang units. So, 0.96 times 0.96. Minus yung quantity ng 4 corners. Yung quantity nila is 0.3 times 0.3. Divide mo sa 2 dahil triangle. Pero times natin siya sa 4 kasi 4 sides yun. So, our R is 96.41. Anong unit? PA is in Newton meter. Na-cancel na yung mga meter square natin. So, natira is Newton. This is our R. Let's check, but hindi siya partner dito. Let me calculate again. 130 times 0.9. 0.9 times 0.9. 0.96. Then, minus yung quantity ng 0.3 times 0.3. Then, divide natin sa 2. And then, times natin sa 4 corners. Total is 96. 96 talaga. May, nag-typo lang siguro siya. Kasi, hindi naman pwede siyang mag-kilonewton kasi newton lang yung given. Hindi naman pwedeng ang resultant mas malaki pa dun sa force. So, 96.41 tayo. So, if anyone is watching this and you find some error or mapalabas nyo to in kilonewton, message me. Pero, hindi, di ba? Newton siya kasi Newton lang to. Hindi pwedeng mas malaki siya. Bigla mag-jump siya sa kilonewton. This is the answer from the book. So, double check nyo if you want. So, next topic, bago tayo as in analyze na. So, na-introduce natin yung supports, type of supports and their corresponding reactions. And then ito, na-introduce na natin yung paano mag-simplify or mag-evaluate ng iba-ibang klaseng loadings. So, ito, kailangan din nating daanan bago tayo mag-analysis ng rigid bodies is to be able to form free body diagrams. So, we have structures, complicated na tingnan, kailangan i-simplify natin sila into free body diagrams kung saan ang makikita na lang natin are the simplified forces and yung mga distances nila. So, free body diagram of a body is a sketch of the body showing all the forces that act on it. The term free implies that all supports have been removed and replaced by the force reaction ng mga support that they exert on the body together with the applied forces. So, dito sa free body, it is the applied forces versus yung mga reaction forces ng mga support. Kaya sabi dito, di ba, papalitan na natin yung mga support dun sa mga reactions na i-exert nila. Kasi, kung pagtutuusin na natin yung applied force versus yung reaction force ng support mo. That's the purpose of our reaction, or that's the purpose ng mga supports natin, di ba? To counteract this applied force. So, sa free body, maghaharap-harap sila. So, the procedure sa pag-sketch ng free body or the notes that we have to remember kapag nag-FBD tayo. Sketch the body. A sketch of the body is drawn assuming that all supports have been removed nga. And then, all applied forces are drawn and labeled properly. So, wala ka dapat maiwan na applied force. And then, take note sa paglalagay ng mga applied force. Like, yung weight ng body, alam mo dapat. Minsan kasi sasabihin ng problem, weight of the body is ganyan. Hindi niya ilalagay kung saan siya. Kasi, automatic, kapag weight of the body, idodrawing mo yung force na yan dun sa center of gravity niya. Or that is yung centroid ng shape ng body mo. Kaya, importante na i-memorize nyo yan yung yung table ng basic shapes, their areas and centroids. Number 3, the support reactions are drawn. Ayun. Remember, kada type of support may corresponding siyang reaction. So, dapat properly drawn and labeled sila. Kapag hindi, edi mali na tayo nun. If the sense of a reaction is unknown, it should be assumed. So, kapag nag-analyze ka, and then unknown yung support na reaction, you can first assume. Kasi later on, pag nakuha mo yung answer, yung sign ng answer ang magdidictate ng direction niya. So, it is okay to assume at first. The solution will determine, ayun nga, sabi ko nga. Then, number 4 na tayo. All relevant angles and dimensions should be shown properly and correctly sa sketch. So, example, coplanar, ibig sabihin, hindi tayo 3D. So, we will first analyze 2D structures, hindi 3D. Kagaya nung first 2 topics natin, no? May 3D tayo dyan. So, for this structure, simple structure, so homogeneous daw siya na 6 meter bar AB. So, pag sinabi ng problem na homogeneous, ibig sabihin, uniform ang material mo all throughout. Ibig sabihin, you can put yung weight niya dun sa center niya. Like this one. Ibig sabihin yan is weight. So, next, ano ba to? Supported siya sa vertical plane by rollers at A and B. So, ito daw yung supports niya. Roller at A, roller at B, at meron siyang cable sa point C. The mass of the bar is 50 kilograms. Then, ayan, draw the free body diagram. Determine the number of unknowns on the free body diagram. So, ayan. So, unang nabanggit na is yung, homogeneous ang material. And then, we can connect that dun sa mass na 50 kg. Because that talks about the weight ng bar. So, sabi nga, homogeneous ang material, we can apply yung weight niya sa centroid niya. Ibig sabihin, this point is 3 meters. And then, itong sa kabila is also 3 meters. Kasi 6 plus 2 plus 4 is 6. So, divide mo sila, 3, 3. Yun ang application ng weight. So, what is the amount ng weight? It is mass times the gravity acceleration. So, that is 50 times, since SI unit siya, 9.81. So, 50 times 9.81 is 490.5. 490.5 Newton. Bakit Newton? Kasi your mass is in kilogram. Minultiply mo siya sa gravity na may unit na meter per second squared. This altogether is Newton, di ba? Okay. So, yun ang weight mo. Next. Supports. So, isa lang, wala na siya nabanggit na ibang load. Wala siyang sinabing may in-apply siya na load. So, ito lang ang force occurring sa body natin. Now, let's evaluate yung supports. Sabi niya, roller dito, roller doon, and then cable. Cable at sea means, di ba, tensions, ang cables, they carry tension. And kapag magdodrawing ng tension, it is from the point, sabi ko, going away from that point. Yan ang tension mo. Let's call that TC. At syempre, ang line of action niya is the same dun sa line of action ng cable. So, it is 20 degrees from the horizontal. Yeah. Then next, yung support sa A, roller siya. We have two types of roller, yung may friction at yung wala. Since hindi binanggit ng problem na may friction, we will use yung walang friction. At ano ang result? Ano yung reaction for this type of support? Di ba normal? And normal is perpendicular to the surface. Hindi dito sa material. Hindi ganyan, no? Wrong yan. The normal is perpendicular sa surface. So, let's call this RA. Reaction ni A. Si TC, hindi natin ginawang RC kasi to denote na tension siya. Next, si B. It is also a roller na frictionless, so the same, normal to the surface. Let's call this RB. So, anymore, wala na, no? So, let's take note, weight, RB, TC, RA. And then, all other properties, yung length, yung angles, they are the same. So, let's check. Ayan. Ito ang free body niya. Inalis natin yung supports, yung roller dito, yung roller doon, inalis na rin natin yung cable. And then, ni-represent natin sila as yung forces na reaction nila according to the type of support they are. Oh, as you can see, si Book, he used NB instead of RB. Ako ginamit ko RB. That is to denote na normal force ang reaction ng support. Pero naming lang yan, okay lang naman. Also, he called its tension na T. Kasi nga, to denote na tension siya. Okay? So, ganun mag-free body diagram. So, another example ng paggawa ng free body diagram is this one. So, the homogeneous 250 kg triangular plate is supported by a pin at A and a roller at C. Then, draw the free body diagram and determine the number of unknowns. Ay, yung sa kanina, hindi natin na-determine ang number of unknowns. So, ang given lang doon is the weight. Yung tatlong support, unknowns na. So, tatlo yung unknowns niya. Yung NB, NA, at T. Okay? So, ito naman, meron siyang mass, 250 kilograms. To get yung weight, equivalent force is 250 kilograms times 9.81 ulit. That is 2,452. Ano saan ko ilalagay? Ilagay dito na lang. 2,452.5 Newton. That's the weight. So, wala na siyang ibang sinabing applied na load. So, let's evaluate the supports. This is a roller, CCI roller. So, perpendicular. Walang sinabing, roller pala. So, roller. So, perpendicular ang support reaction ng roller. So, eto siya. Let's call it RC. And then, for pin, reactions niya ay horizontal and vertical. Dalawa ang support reactions niya. So, let's call this RAV and RAH. Para ma-denote lang na reaction sa point A na vertical component. And then, reaction at point A naman ito along horizontal. So, saan pala natin i-apply si weight? So, since triangular and homogeneous itong material natin, again, centroid ng triangle. And that is dito. This is yung centroid niya, referring to the horizontal. And this is 1/3 ng length. And the length corresponding for this is 0.6 meter. So, what's the 1/3 ng 0.6? It is 0.2. Okay? So, ayan ang mga ano niya natin, mga involved sa free body diagram. Ang isi-show natin sa free diagram, yung weight acting 0.2 meters from B, and then yung RAH, RAV, and then RC, na properly oriented, na ganyan siya. And then, ayan. So, let's check. Ayun, 0.22453, and then NC, and then horizontal and vertical component. So, nag-iba lang kami ng naming. Okay lang yon. So, how many unknowns? 1, 2, 3. So, now, pag-usapan na natin yung tatlong topics that you need before analyzing rigid bodies. So, what are those topics? The first, yung supports and their corresponding reactions. Second, yung types of loading, evaluating and simplifying different types of loading na lalo na yung mga irregular. And then third, how to construct free body diagrams. So, napag-aralan na lahat ng yon. So, let's start analyzing rigid bodies. So, we want our rigid bodies to be in equilibrium. Ito na yung kasama natin habang buhay as civil engineers. So, these are the three equations of equilibrium. So, a body is said to be in equilibrium if the resultant of the force system that acts on the body vanishes. It vanishes because yung mga resultant forces exerted by the supports cancels them out. That's why nagva-vanish sila, ini-equate natin sa zero ang net force between the applied and the reaction forces ng supports. Sabi ko nga, it's the applied force P versus yung mga reactions ng support. This should be canceled out. Dapat zero sila. Walang net force. Kaya kapag nag-equation tayo ng equilibrium, puro zero sila. Example, Ano ba yung mga in-analyze natin? Puro summation tayo ng summation ng mga forces sa y and x, di ba? Yun yung mga resultant ng applied force. Tapos, iko-kontra natin doon ang mga reactions natin. So, pagsasamahin natin sila. Magsa-summation tayo ng fx, magkasama dyan ang p at mga reactions. Dapat, ang summation nilang lahat ay 0. The same pag nag-summation ka sa y, nag-summation ka ng mga moment, dapat equal ang mga yan ng mga applied at ng mga reactions. So, the body is in equilibrium. So, let's have the first problem para sa equilibrium of rigid bodies. So, let's analyze this structure. A homogeneous 120 kg wooden beam is suspended from ropes A and B. A power wrench applies a 500 Newton meter clockwise couple to tighten a bolt at C. So, rope dito sa A, rope sa B. Sa C, meron siyang clockwise na moment dahil may bolt tightening sa C. So, use the FBD and determine the tensions in the ropes. So, let's create the FBD. So, let's balikan the problem. 120 kilogram wooden beam. This is the mass. So, may corresponding weight ang beam. Since homogeneous ang beam, it will act sa center or centroid ng beam. So, nandito si weight. Then, that is equal to the mass na 120 kg times gravitational acceleration na 9.81. That is equal to 120 times 9.81, 1177.2 Newton. And then, next niya sinabi, suspended siya sa rope A at B. So, it is a rope. So, for supports na rope or cables, sabi natin, tension ang reaction na binibigay ng supports na yon. So, paano natin i-draw ang isang tension reaction? So, from point A, draw ka ng line along dun sa rope. So, this is your force and the direction points away from the point. So, punta ka din sa B, from the point B, draw ka ng line along ng rope and draw the arrowhead away from the point. That is tension. So, let's call this tension sa B or TB and tension sa A or TA naman ito. Next, meron daw moment sa point C, this one, na counterclockwise. So, gawin natin yung FBD with this forces sa beam. Let's draw the beam with the same properties and lengths, ganyan. So, sa point A, meron kang TA, yun yung reaction ng rope. And sa point B, meron kang TB, reaction ng rope sa B, at point C, yung load na moment. 500 Newton meter. And then yung dimension, huwag kakalimutan, meron tayong weight acting dito sa gitna ng beam. And it's of course downward ang weight. Ilagay na natin yung value na 1177.2 Newton. So, the distances from point B to point C, it's 2 meters. Point A to point B, it's 4 meters. And then, itong weight, sabihin natin, huwag na natin pangalanan. Lagyan na natin siya ng dimension. From point A, the weight is, so, divide mo ito sa 2. 4 plus 2 is 6 divided by 2. So, 3. Kasi nga, gitna ang weight. Nakagitna yan. So, 3 din to. 3 meters. 3 meters. So, this is yung free body diagram natin. It is just the beam, then dimensions, reaction versus, it is the reactions versus the applied loads. Our applied loads are ito and ito. So, ano yung three equations of equilibrium natin? Let's write them. Summation of forces along x equals 0. Summation of forces along y equals 0. Summation of moment from a point of evaluation equals 0. So, kailangan 0 sila. Pag nagtapat-tapat, lahat ng forces, the reaction forces, and the applied forces should be equal. Ibig sabihin, nakabalance na siya. So, yung summation of forces along x, magagamit ba natin siya? Hindi. Kasi wala tayong forces along x. Yung summation of y, may forces tayo along y, so magagamit natin to. So, let's write yung summation of forces along y. Summation of forces along y are tatlo sila, no? So, it's TA positive upward plus si TB positive upward and then negative si weight na equal to 1177.2 Newton. Done. Wala nang ibang vertical force. Ngayon, si moment, magagamit ba natin siya? Meron tayong moment, so magagamit natin siya. So, with moment, kailangan meron kang point of evaluation. So, let's choose, will it be A, B, C, or even pati ito, pwede mong maging point of evaluation. So, usually, ginagamit natin is yung nasa left hand most. Choose na natin si A. So, summation of moment sa point A, yung point of evaluation. So, ano-ano mga involved na moment? Dito ka sa free body diagram, tingnan natin ang mga magkakos ng moment sa point A. So, ano ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, i-hold mo tong point A. Hold it fixed, dapat hindi siya gumalaw. Pero kapag in-applyan mo ng load like ito, magro-rotate siya. So, i-hold mo to. Paano magro-rotate yan kung i-fix mo to? So, ano-anong mga magkakos ng moment? TA, hindi yan magkakos ng moment dahil dumaan siya sa point of evaluation natin na point A. So, hindi yan natin i-consider. Next load is yung weight. Yan, magkakos yan ng moment kasi this force acts at a distance 3 meter from point A. At kung titingnan nyo, ang distance na to is perpendicular already sa point A and sa force. So, siya na yung moment arm. So, let's evaluate. Let's write yung weight, 11772.2. Ano ang moment arm? Times 3. So, force times distance na. So, let's check yung direction. It's clockwise, so it's negative. Next, si TB naman. Hold this one, and pag gumanon si TB, ano ang direction ng rotation? It's counterclockwise. So, positive. Si TB, and then moment arm niya is 4 meters from point A. Okay na? Then next, meron tayong moment load. Ang direction niya is clockwise. So, it is negative 500. Wala na tayong distance. Wala na tayong distance na i-multiply. Kasi moment load na siya. Ibig sabihin, kapag moment load na ang given, as in naka-Newton meter na yung units, kahit nandito yung moment load, nandito, or nandito, dito, same lang yan kapag nag-summation ng moment. Yung value na lang niya ang kailangan mo. Kahit saan siya, hindi mo na kailangan i-consider ang distance. the magnitude ng moment is already okay. Wala kang multiply na moment arm. So, ito na ang summation of moment mo. And then, for equilibrium, i-equate natin sila sa 0. So, how many missing or unknowns do we have? 1, 2. Sa equation 1, dalawa. Ito equation 1. Ito equation 2. Dalawa ang missing doon. Sa equation 2, isa lang. Kasi nagka-equate na tayo sa 0. So, we can find TB from here. Equation 2. Let's find TB. Isolate natin si TB. Ibig sabihin, ilipat mo ito sa kabilang side ng equation, also this one doon. So, magpa-positive sila paglipat nila doon. So, 500 plus 1177.2 times 3 siya, divided by sa 4. So, 1007.9 Newton. So, check. So, using equation 1, and then, isa-substitute yung value ng TB dun sa equation 1. So, it is 0. Missing na lang is TA plus TB na 1007.9 minus 1177.2. So, isolate natin si A. Ilipat natin ito. So, negative siya doon. Paglipat nito, positive siya doon. So, let's calculate. So, TA is equal to 169.3 Newton. The same with this one. So, nakuha na natin yung dalawang support. Para hindi gumalaw yung beam, yung mga ropes mo, mag-e-exert ng yung TA 169, yung TB 1,000 something. So, let's try solving yung isang item sa quiz ninyo. So, this is a system na crane. Tapos, yung crane for stability, meron siyang added cable dito. So, merong weight dito. Ito yung equivalent ng tension. Ito yung equivalent ng weight. So, the support at point B is a pin connection. So, pin connection siya. Ano ang reactions kapag pin connection ang support mo? Vertical and horizontal. Let's call this R, B, reaction at B na vertical. Ito naman, reaction at B na horizontal, RBH. So, to simplify yung problem, let's project this tension up to this point and the weight up to this point. So, they occur in one line lang. Yung tension, point B, yung support, and yung weight. Using transmissibility property ng mga forces. So, mas madali siyang i-analyze. So, given ang T, given ang W, kailangan natin malaman ano ang values ng support natin, ng reactions niya, para makontra yung loads natin. So, let's simplify our T into its components, TH and TV. Ayan. So, this structure should be in equilibrium. So, we can use the three equations of equilibrium. Summation of forces along X, magagamit natin since meron tayong mga forces sa X. So, equal siya. Ano ang mga forces sa X? TH. To the right siya. So, negative. And then next, yung RBH, this one, to the right siya, positive. Then, wala na. Ito lang sila. So, silang dalawa lang sa equations. And since T has a value, kunin natin yung component niya sa horizontal para makuha natin si RBH. Kasi to simplify this equation, makukuha natin si RBH. RBH is equal to TH and then T, ay positive na siya. Nilipat natin siya, di ba? So, positive na siya pag nilipat. So, TH is equal to cosine ng T, kailangan natin ng theta. Since ito, projected, ang theta projected siya dito, projected opposite angle sila. So, kung ano ang theta, siya ring value ng angle dito. Theta din siya. So, makukuha natin yan kasi given ang base and height ng triangle na to. Yung height is 36 and this 120 plus 16 is also 36. So, theta, dito natin ilagay, theta is equal to arctan ng 36 over 36. So, by observation, equal sides ng triangle, 45 degrees si theta. Pero if you want to continue, solve mo itong arctan 36 over 36 or arctan 1, that is equal to 45 degrees. So, 45 degrees si theta, makukuha natin ang cosine TH. Ay, cosine T. So, TH is equal to cosine theta times T. So, T is 28.3 times cosine 45. This is equal to 20.01. And then, si RBV? Pwede natin gamitin summation of forces along Y. So, ano mga forces natin sa Y? Tatlo. Ito, ito, at yung weight. So, let's write. Dito na lang. TV is downward. So, negative TV. And then upward, si RBV. We assume it to be upward. And then weight is downward. Negative siya. Weight is 25. Substitute ko na. Newton. And then TV. Makukuha natin yan since may value tayo ng T. So, it is 28.3 sine 45, 20.01. Obviously, kasi nga, equal sides ang triangle natin, TH is equal to TV. So, we want to get RBV. Ilipat natin sa kabilang side itong dalawa to isolate RBV. So, RBV is equal to 20.01 plus 25, 45.01 Newton. So, nakuha na natin ang support reactions sa point B. Support reaction na kailangan doon sa crane para maging equilibrium ang system natin. So, to answer this, ang question na to is, ano ang moment na nagawa ng force T, diba? Yung cable. Nakuha yan. Moment caused by T is, si TH walang moment caused yan dahil nagpasa siya sa B. Si TV lang ang may moment na maika-cause. So, ano si TV? 20.01 times, anong moment arm niya? 20, meters. So, 20 times 20.01 equals 402. Okay? Ala. Then, sa letter B, ito naman, moment caused by the weight. So, kung titingnan mo dito, nilagay natin si weight dito, pinroject natin siya dito. Meron na siyang perpendicular distance from point B. Perpendicular na ang 16 kasi ayan no, perpendicular yan. Same with sa TV, ito yung TV mo, perpendicular na ang 20 meters na to. Kaya sila na yung moment arm na ginagamit natin. So, M caused by weight is equal to, what is weight? 25 kilonewton times 16 meters na moment arm niya. So, ilan yun? 400 Newton. So, eto, sa letter C, pinapakuha niya, mag-moment ka daw sa B. Ano ang moment sa B? So, let's make summation ng moment sa B. Ano ang mga magkakos ng moment sa B? Si TV nga at si weight. So, pwedeng i-rewrite mo sila, pwedeng hindi. Kunwari, hindi na natin sila i-rewrite. So, punta ka sa point B, i-hold mo siya. Hold it fixed. Tapos, ipag-rotate mo si weight. Ano ang magiging rotation niya? Fixed ito. Gaganon siya. So, it is clockwise. Negative CMW. 400. And then, punta ka ulit kay B. Ano ang rotation ni TV? Fix ka dito sa B. Tapos, pag-rotate mo na pag ganon si TV. So, counterclockwise siya. Positive 400, 0, 2. Point B is pin connection. Dalawa lang ang forces dyan, horizontal and vertical. Hindi siya nag-carry ng moment. Ibig sabihin, the moment there is 0. In equilibrium, summation of moment is 0. So, pag yan, ito na yung equation natin. And then, gaganon mo to. 0, ang kanilang equal sila, no? Pag pinag-contra mo sila. At ang answer, pag nag-summation ka ng moment at B is 0. So, 0 sila. Nagka-cancel out sila. Kasi, in equilibrium yung system. Yung dalawang naggagawa ng moment, they are just equal to each other. So, the system or yung structure is in equilibrium.